Y'all already know what it is. It is your boy Toby D, and Happy New Year to everybody on this 2018 New Year. Man, time flies. You know, they say the older you get, the faster time flies. I guess that means the faster is your time coming for hitting the grave. And I'm 40 now. Hopefully I don't hit the grave until I'm getting about 80 years old. I don't mean to talk about that, but hey, it just happened to come out. I'm just, relating it to me in 2018. I mean, because the time has flown by. Oh, man, I tell you, boy. And, hey, I just got to give a shout out right now to some teams that finally have managed to end their drought to not making playoffs. And I want to start with the oldest team, a team that Rex Ryan was the coach of, who was given the responsibility of helping them break that mode of not making the playoffs. Unfortunately, he did not get the job done, but shout out to Sean McDermott for coming over there, formerly the Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator. They go 9-7 on the year. Unfortunately, LaShawn McCoy, they showed, went down with an injury. But hey, man, the way medicine works today in the NFL, he could be back out there playing when they got to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of those teams, by the way, have ended their drought of not making the playoffs. How about that? And they're both playing each other coming up this weekend. I know many of you are excited about the Falcons, who punched their own ticket in and did not need the Seattle Seahawks' help, which they would have gotten because Seattle lost by 2 points to Arizona Cardinals, with Bruce Arians possibly retiring and announcing that retirement soon. But, man, also shout out to the Tennessee Titans, man, who have ended their drought, who hadn't been to the playoffs since 2007, I believe I saw, and did it with Marcus Mariota. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay. Unfortunately for you, the praises that you got that you might could end your playoff drought did not happen. But as of right now, I'm tipping my hat over to that Tennessee Titans team and Marcus Mariota, who y'all did not draft, whom I heard through the grapevine that Dirk Cutter really wanted over Jameis Winston. But I don't really know those to be facts. It just is what it is. But right now, the early proof is in the pudding, Tampa Bay Bucks. They're in the playoffs, and you are once again at home. But shout out to you, though. You finally got to take one of us down. Luckily, it was not our Falcons on Monday Night Football, but you got them Saints. And now many are starting to wonder, did the Saints actually lose that game on purpose because they wanted a better matchup with the Panthers? Now they got it. So let's see what they do. It is definitely hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, but they will be headed to you because we beat those Carolina Panthers and sent them on home as we punched our own ticket in. Now, I do apologize. I did not get to do a video during the Christmas week time, simply because I was out of town hanging with family. My mother-in-law, who is a Falcons fan, and just chilling with the sister-in-laws out there in Carolina. It just so happens that's where I was at. And hanging with the wife and my kids and all of that, all that good stuff. So I was not able to do a video, but part of that was by design because I wanted to wait until the Carolina game wrapped up to blend them both into the Saints game, that is, and the Carolina game into my end, just a little summarizing end of the season review of how things have gone. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing we do know for sure, that the things that Dan Quinn has implemented from a philosophical standpoint and the regiments and tactics that he's added in the offseason since after that 2015 season, they work. All the Navy SEAL training, all the sayings of embrace the suck, eating a crap sandwich, getting knocked down on the mat and getting back up. The only fight that matters is the one that we're in. all of those things, as corny as many of you think they sound, I've heard many media people say that those sayings are corny, but they seem to work. They work, guys, especially in a trying year this year. It has been a fight getting to the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, despite how we got there, do you realize we have been one of few teams to defy the odds of making it to the playoffs after a Super Bowl loss, especially a Super Bowl loss like we had. Now, of course, the jokes have already started. I saw an article already talking about the Falcons are back in the playoffs for another chance to choke the playoffs away. Just so much hate. But whatever, we're in. And there are teams right now today that are getting ready to clean their lockers out and are getting ready for exit reviews, getting treatment for any injuries that they've suffered. And we're moving on. We're getting our treatment while we're moving on to the next round against the Rams. Shout out to the Rams, who have also ended their drought. Haven't been to the playoffs since 2004. I believe that's the last time when Steven Jackson was there. And now they are back in, and we are going up to LA to face them at 8:15 on Saturday night. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of night games, guys, one thing Dan Quinn has done, he has gotten these guys up for night games. We had a pretty successful night game record this season. I think we went 4-1 because we lost against the New England Patriots in a game where we were still trying to figure ourselves out. But ladies and gentlemen, I know this defense we have had not gotten many turnovers, and they've been hard to come by. But ladies and gentlemen, give them a clap right now. This defense has gotten us back into the playoffs. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if y'all saw it yesterday, but when Grady Jarrett got that sack on Cam Newton, which was a huge sack, by the way, helped lead them to only kicking a field goal, you could see Dan Quinn hardly having a hard time containing his smiles like, man, here you go. He turning it on. And if we get the Grady Jarrett that was in the Super Bowl, and he's already had a pretty good year. Now, he didn't make the Pro Bowl, but I think he is well on his way. And guys, I'm looking for bigger things for Grady Jarrett going into his fourth season in the NFL, as well as Vic Beasley. But you can see that Dan is very happy with where this guy is going and where he's headed, especially having a mentor and defensive coach like Marquand Manuel and his pass rushing coach, Mr. Brian Young, who was a great addition. I don't know if we quite hit the 40 sacks, but guys, we got pretty close this year. We've had pretty good pass rush, adding Tack McKinley, Mr. Fiery Tack McKinley, who is starting to really turn things on and bend that corner around to get into the quarterback. Almost got to Cam Newton quite a few times, but just missed barely. Now, I don't know what happened to Adrian Claiborne. I didn't really get to see it because I was caught up emotionally into the game, but I heard that he got hurt. I did see Taylor Gabriel having to come out of the game. Looked like he pulled a hammy trying to cover a punt kick. But guys, we went in and we won that game the way that we needed to win that game. And I'm going to tell you, I got to give a big thanks to Ron Rivera, because Dan Quinn seems to be heavily motivated, to play against this guy, especially since after that 38-0 drubbing that they gave us in 2015. Ever since then, the fire, the eye of the tiger has been in Dan's eyes when he has played Ron Rivera's team. And guys, we've shown up against them since then and looked pretty good. And they seem to have been a team that we've seemed to measure ourselves by to what we need to do and feeling good when we become victorious over them. This time we did a good job of not allowing the Carolina Panthers to snatch our playoff hopes away from us like they did in 2014, which was one of the reasons why Mike Smith got fired in the first place. Matt Ryan had a bad game that day, as we had a chance to not only win the division but make the playoffs. I was there. I watched those pick sixes that Carolina got on us to help lead them into the playoffs that year. And getting the one win, I think, over the Arizona Cardinals. They beat them down pretty bad after they had won the division, as far as Arizona goes. But this year, we got redemption, and now the redemption truly starts. Ladies and gentlemen, we was in that Saints game, and I got to admit to you, I was hot as fire. I mean, you should have heard me. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I'm so glad we don't have to play them. I do not feel like losing to their refs this time around, and we can go and play a fresh team who I believe we can beat and end up our way to Philadelphia, because we are the lowest seed and Philadelphia is the number 1 seed, so that guarantees them the lowest seed to play next should we get past the LA Rams, which I believe we can. That 1st and 40, man, that was just something wild in that Saints game. For many of you that don't know what 40 means in Hebrew, it means trial, test. And hasn't that been the theme of our team the whole season? Tests. We've been tried so hard. We've had to fight so hard. Many of those games could have gone either way for us, whether in the win column or the loss column, but we were able to come out victorious. And a lot of that has to do with the things that Dan Quinn has done and implemented in the offseason for this team, the advice he has gone outside of football to get from Steve Kerr and other guys that have won championships, that have gone through hard times in championship games and have helped their teams to bounce back. You got to give Dan Quinn a lot of credit, and sometimes we do get upset with Dan and his staff because certain coaching decisions that they make or lack thereof. He went out and got Steve Sarkisian, who the jury is still out on, and yes, the Falcons have dropped a lot of balls, and yes, Matt Ryan has not looked like the MVP Matt Ryan he looked like in 2016. But guys, despite all of that, the talent level that we have helped us get in, and specifically on defense. Now the question will be, is this defense enough to lead us back to a Super Bowl in 52 in Minnesota? We shall see. But great signs came out of yesterday's game, and I'm going to tell you what those signs are because I'm sure you already know. Interception, interception, interception. 3, that is, and 2 by our safeties, Ricardo Allen and Keanu Neal, who were finally in the right position to make the play. And how about Mr. Robert Alford, who got the last interception to end the game? Player, you cannot end a season any better than that. And right now, you +3. And you're going into the LA Rams with turnovers, and hopefully that ends our turnover drought. Yes, we were getting fumbles in games, but we finally got some picks. And I was definitely excited about that. Now, we couldn't score worth a dang, which ticked me off so bad after that first opening drive when it looked so easy. But thanks to Mr. Money Matt Bryant, who kicked 5 field goals in that game, in a defense that was able to hold the points after those field goals were kicked yesterday, and basically embarrassed Cam Newton and his team. Now, provided you're going to have some people talking about Jonathan Stewart didn't play and all this and that. Ladies and gentlemen, there were a lot of guys that didn't play on a lot of teams that we were able to beat. So what? It is what it is. And unfortunately, teams like the Packers, not in the playoffs. Teams like the Seattle Seahawks not in the playoffs, Detroit Lions, and the Dallas Cowboys. And oh, why is that? Well, it's because the Falcons beat them all. Now, if you look at those first 2 out of 3 games starting off this season, you look at this thing and you're like, I don't know, we're going to make it. I mean, that Detroit game could have easily gone the other way. That Chicago game could have easily gone the other way. The only game that really was decisive was the Packers game. But despite the trials that our team has been through, everything still lined up for us to get back into the playoffs. And now we have started a new season, which they call the 5th quarter, so to speak. And guys, it's time to see what we can do. Now, I have to admit, I have not been too excited and confident in what this team can do. I was not confident yesterday. I'm sorry. I admit it. But they came out and they proved me wrong. And despite the offense not being able to really get it going, they did enough to run clock out. And the defense was able to do what they needed to do, get the rest. Because I was nervous at first after we gave up a 16-play drive before the half or whatnot for Cam Newton them to score their only touchdown and get 10 points eventually. It was just a fun day to watch Cam Newton get beat. I'm sorry, every time we play him, I can't help but want to beat him. In my opinion, I think he's one of the most arrogant quarterbacks that I've seen out there. I'm sorry. If someone could correct or disprove what I see analysis-wise on him, then hey, I will be happy to agree. But you're going to have to come with something strong. But ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We've made it through. We lost against some teams we should have beat. Yeah, Buffalo, Miami, examples. But we've also won what we needed to go 10-6. And we're in. Enjoy it. Happy New Year. 2018 is here. We're in the playoffs, baby. Again, it's Toby D. Please continue to share, like, comment, subscribe. And as my boy JR would say, we're trying to reach that 1,000, man. Help us to be able to do it. And join the team. Spread the love. Share the word out. Put the word out that we're out here pound for pound. Again, it's Toby D. Peace. I'm out.